The moment your baby was born, most people looked at them and saw something helpless. Something that needed everything done for them. Something that couldn't understand the world around them yet. Those people were wrong. What was actually lying in that hospital room was one of the most sophisticated learning machines that has ever existed on this planet. A brain already running calculations, already making predictions, already studying you with more focus and precision than any scientist has ever studied anything. Your baby isn't waiting to become smart. They already are. And today, we are going to prove it, with real science, real experiments, and findings that are going to make you look at your baby in a completely different way starting from right now. What they can do before they're born. Let's start before the birthday. Because your baby's intelligence doesn't begin when they arrive. It begins months earlier. By week 18 of pregnancy, your baby can hear. Not just detect sound, actually hear. The rhythm of your voice, the pattern of your speech, the melody of your language. And here is where it gets remarkable. Researchers in France conducted a study where pregnant mothers read a specific short story out loud every day during the final weeks of pregnancy. After birth, when those same babies heard that story, and only that story, their heart rates changed. Not for other stories, not for other voices, for that specific story. They remembered it, before they were born. Your baby came into the world already knowing the sound of your voice better than any other sound in existence. They had been listening to it for months, cataloging it, memorizing it, building a map of you before they ever saw your face. And language acquisition starts even earlier than most parents realize. Studies show that newborns already prefer the language spoken around them during pregnancy over foreign languages. A French newborn will respond differently to French than to Russian, not because of anything that happened after birth, but because of everything that happened before it. Your baby wasn't a blank slate when they arrived. They came in with a head start. The face recognition genius. Within minutes of birth, not days, not weeks, minutes, your newborn can recognize your face. Not clearly. Their vision is blurry at birth, designed to focus at a distance of about 8 to 12 inches, which is exactly the distance between your face and theirs when you hold them. Their eyes are calibrated from day one for the most important thing in their world, you. But face recognition goes deeper than just seeing you. Newborns prefer faces to any other visual stimulus. You can show a newborn a picture of a face and a picture of an equally complex non-face pattern, the same colors, the same number of shapes, and the baby will look at the face longer, every time. At hours old. This is not coincidence. This is design. The human brain has an entire specialized region, the fusiform face area, dedicated specifically to processing faces. And in newborns, that region is already active, already doing its job, already treating faces as the most important category of object in the visual world. And it gets more sophisticated. By 3 months, your baby can tell the difference between happy and sad faces. They aren't just seeing a face, they are reading it. Interpreting the emotional signal being sent. Adjusting their own behavior based on what your face is telling them. If you look happy, they tend toward activity and engagement. If you look worried or sad, they become quieter, more cautious, looking to understand why the face that guides them has changed. Your face is their weather forecast, and they have been learning to read it from day one. The statistics machine. This is the one that changes how most parents see their babies. Because this one doesn't sound like something a baby should be able to do. But the evidence is overwhelming. Your baby is a statistician. Not metaphorically, literally. Their brain runs continuous probability calculations on everything happening around them, building models of how the world works, tracking patterns, updating predictions when something unexpected happens. Here is the experiment that proved it. Researchers showed 8-month-old babies a box filled with balls, mostly red ones with a few white ones. Then they reached in and pulled out a ball. When the researcher pulled out a white ball, the rare color, the babies stared longer and harder than when they pulled out a red ball. They were surprised, because statistically, red was more likely. They had run the math. They had a prediction, and when the prediction was violated, they noticed. 8 months old. It goes further. MIT researchers have shown that babies as young as 12 months will actually intervene when statistical probabilities are violated. When a magician appears to make something impossible happen, babies don't just stare. They reach out. They try to figure out how the trick works. They are not content to be mystified. They want to solve it. This is not passive wonder. This is active investigation. Your baby is not watching the world. They are running experiments on it. Every dropped object, every unexpected sound, every time you do something different than you did before, your baby's brain is logging data, updating its model, refining its predictions. They are doing what scientists do. Instinctively, relentlessly, all day long. The social genius. Here is something most people don't know. Your baby can tell the difference between a kind person and an unkind person. And they prefer the kind one. Not at 5 years old, not at 3, at 6 months. The Hamlin experiment at Yale University is one of the most famous infant research studies ever conducted. Babies were shown a puppet show. A round character was trying to climb a hill. Sometimes a helpful square came and pushed it up. Sometimes a mean triangle came and knocked it back down. After the show, babies were offered both puppets to reach for. The helpful one and the mean one. Overwhelmingly, at 6 months old, babies reached for the helper. They hadn't been taught about kindness. Nobody sat them down and explained morality. They intuited it. They evaluated the situation, identified who was helping and who was hurting, formed a social preference, and acted on it. The social brain is not something that develops after babies learn to talk. It is running from almost the beginning. Your baby is reading the social world around them constantly. Not just you and your partner, but every person they encounter. Who is consistent? Who is trustworthy? Who responds when they signal? Who doesn't? And here is the part that matters most for you as a parent. By 3 months, babies already show preference for people who interacted warmly with their mothers during pregnancy. They cannot explain this preference. They cannot articulate it. But it is there. The social database started before birth, and it has been running ever since. Your baby knows more about the people in your life than you think they do. The language download. Every language on Earth uses a specific set of sounds called phonemes. English uses about 44 of them. Japanese uses around 25. They overlap, but not completely. Some sounds exist in one language and not the other. At birth, your baby can hear and distinguish every phoneme used in every language on Earth, every single one, every human language. Perfect discrimination. By 6 months, something remarkable and somewhat heartbreaking happens. They start to lose it. As the baby's brain is flooded with the sounds of your language, and only your language, it begins to specialize. The pathways for the sounds they hear most often become stronger. The pathways for sounds they never hear begin to weaken. The brain is being sculpted by experience, shaped toward the language of their world. By 12 months, a baby raised in an English-speaking home can no longer reliably distinguish between 2 Japanese sounds that an adult Japanese speaker would immediately tell apart. The window is closing. This is not a failure. This is extraordinary efficiency. The brain is betting everything on the language it will need, doubling down on the most useful wiring. But it tells you something important about what is happening in the first year. The learning is not just accumulating, it is selecting, prioritizing, making strategic decisions about what to invest in. And babies do this not by being taught, by listening. Every conversation you have near your baby, every sentence, every story, every time you narrate what you are doing, is data going into one of the most complex language acquisition systems ever built. They are not too young to benefit from your words. They never were. The things they do that you thought were accidents. Let's talk about some things your baby does that look random and aren't. Babbling. When your 7-month-old starts making sounds, ba-ba-ba, da-da-da, it sounds like cute noise. It is actually something extraordinary. Babies babble in the phoneme patterns of their native language. A French baby's babbling sounds slightly different from an American baby's babbling. They are practicing, rehearsing the specific sounds they will need, testing how their mouth and tongue and breath work together to produce language. If you babble back, they get more sophisticated, because you are confirming that the communication channel is open. Dropping things. When your baby drops something from their high chair for the 11th time and watches it fall, they are running a physics experiment. They are testing whether gravity works the same way every single time, whether the rule holds, whether the universe is consistent. At around 8 months, they begin to look where the object landed before they see it land, because they have learned to predict the trajectory. They understand object permanence and basic projectile physics, from a high chair, before their first birthday, staring at strangers. When your baby locks eyes with someone in a supermarket and just stares, they are conducting a social assessment. Who is this person? Are they safe? How do they relate to my parent? The stare is not rudeness. It is data collection, crying differently. By 6 weeks, most mothers can distinguish at least 3 different cries from their baby: a hunger cry, a tired cry, a pain cry. This is not random variation. These are intentional signals. Your baby learned very quickly that communication works, that signals produce responses, and began developing a vocabulary of signals to produce specific responses. They are communicating with you. From the beginning. Here is what all of this means. Every moment your baby is awake, something is happening. A statistic is being calculated, a face is being read, a sound is being filed, a social assessment is being made, a physics law is being tested and confirmed. The brain is not waiting for school. It is not waiting for walking or talking. It is running at full capacity right now, in the crib, in the car seat, in your arms. The proof that your baby is smarter than most people think isn't in one experiment. It's in dozens of them, run by researchers at Harvard and MIT and Yale and universities all over the world, who spent careers trying to find the edge of infant intelligence and kept finding that the edge was further out than anyone expected. Your baby remembers your voice from before they were born. They prefer kind people to unkind ones. They run statistical models. They study your face the way scientists study data. They are already acquiring language in their sleep. They don't need you to believe they are smart. They are smart whether you believe it or not. But knowing it changes how you show up for them. It changes how much you talk to them, how much you respond to their signals, how much you let them investigate and drop and stare and test. How much you understand that when they look at you, really lock onto your eyes and hold the gaze, something serious is happening. They are learning you, in more detail and with more dedication than anyone has ever learned you before. That is not a small thing. That is everything.